All right, everyone, let's get started. And where are we? So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And I'm going to get myself, I want to see you guys. There we are. It's better. Well, there's a lot of black boxes, but there are a few faces there. So, all right. So let's just settle into comfortable seated posture. And if you're sitting at a desk and your feet are down, try and really feel the sensation of, the weight of your feet in the floor. And have your feet and knees about a hip's width apart. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine lengthening this beautiful string of pearls of light. And then, as best as you can, align your ears with your shoulders. And bring the awareness of your conscious mind, or just bring your conscious mind to the crown of the head and just notice what you're feeling. Do you feel warmth, tingling, pressure? So just allow a little softness to come in to the crown, and then move your attention to the forehead. Relax the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the tongue, the jaw. And the back of the head, where the occipital bone is. Relax the back of the neck and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, your belly. Just let your belly go. And then relax all your limbs, hands, feet, fingers, toes. And bring the mind to the breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. And be aware of sounds in your environment. Some of them are familiar and expected for this time of day or evening. So Christine and John, whose place I'm living on, bought some prayer flags back from Bhutan, and I bought some up from Judith's place. So we spent the afternoon hanging prayer flags in trees and across bits of the house. And of course, the birds, who think that their food source now is outside my cottage, were most disturbed last night. So they figured it out by today. I didn't think it would take them long. So I can hear them now. They're happily, as the sun is going down, they're happily getting their last bits of food. So with things like, this is your environment. It's part of your mandala, and you just notice it, be aware of it. And then just, try not to follow with the mind. Just allow the sounds to be there. And then notice what's arising in your mind, trying not to judge, criticize. And think about our loved ones. There's some people in our life we have really kind of deep and profound relationships with. Some people are uncomfortable for us. And there's others who are just, we don't really care, they're strangers. Remembering they can all change place at any time and they're all equal because everybody really just wants to be happy. No one wants to suffer. No one wants to be uncomfortable. And everyone, it seems, has this extraordinary potential for Buddhahood. So even the ones we don't like, the ones that are causing enormous destruction and problems in the world and the environment, they all have Buddha nature. Even Hitler had Buddha nature somewhere. Hard to imagine. But according to Buddha, that's just how it is. So we first of all think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is psychological. And we're creating negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we don't like the current suffering that we have, So, it makes sense if you understand about the, creation of karma and negative seeds. It would make sense to pull them out before they actually ripen, a bit like weeds. Kind of get them out of the ground before they flower and reseed. So we think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, broken my vows, because I do not want their future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Vajrasattva to purify us. We're relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have, which is part of this section on reliance, compassion, developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think I must purify for their sake. And so then we come to the power of the remedy. And this is really the medicine, doing the practice of purification with visualization and mantra. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa anarakta me boa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, Anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, Anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this just overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip, harsh speech, all this kind of useless gossipy speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita me boa, sutokaya me boa, sipokaya me boa, Anarakta me boa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajrama me mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasapha Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapha Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapha Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapha Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapha Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapha Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapha Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapha Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasapha Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapha Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, you imagine you walk into a pitch black room, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So we always think when we go into a room and turn on a light, we're going to turn on light. We're not thinking we're dispelling darkness. So think about that next time you do go into a dark room and flick on a switch. Dispelling the darkness rather than turn on the light. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all that darkness of the negativity of the mind, all your attachment to neediness, depression, anxiety, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, wish to harm, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And so this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even those very subtle imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. So even those subtlest imprints, those subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. Omniscience is enlightenment. So now the power of resolve, and, first of all, really rejoice in your efforts. Coming here, disciplining yourself, staying focused for 30 minutes. And this is something that you're doing for yourself, not for anybody else. So it's taking care of yourself, healing yourself. So then think, have an aspiration in your mind to refrain from harming. It also implies, implicit in this would be removing little creatures out of harm's way. You may be presented with an opportunity to do that. Blow some mantras on the little creature that you find in the swimming pool if you're doing laps, or on the road if you're walking. And what you'll find is that some of those little creatures, they give up, but they're not dead. And the minute you pull them out of the water, for example, they just spring back to life, totally delighted to be out of harm's way. So that kind of energetic spring back to me indicates that they really don't like suffering, and they don't like dying, and they don't want to be harmed. So just maybe think of something that you would like to work on, something, perhaps it would be like not to ignore the little animals that you see are struggling and just give up on them. Maybe just go that extra little bit and pick up that ant, a little winged creature that maybe lost a wing, and put it in a flower so it can spend the rest of the day before it passes somewhere comfortable. And give some water to something that looks like it's thirsty. So there's this thing of removing beings from harm's way. So I think maybe it's all, and then that requires you to be a little bit more aware. So awareness, I think, is the key. What's going on in our mind, what's coming up, the habits that we have that cause, that we, harm people with our body, speech, and mind. So just think about what you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche used to recommend to meditate on emptiness. And emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now let's just do our names of Manjushri verses.
Give me just a second, Venerable.
No worries. So we can try and make a swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Pretty soon there's going to be photos all over the place. Little baby, little toddler.
Here we go.
Open sesame.
Coming right up. Sorry for the delay.
No worries. Everyone's pretty patient here. It's up to 7. Ooh. The Mirror Light Wisdom. Called Vajrabharava, he is terrific. This must be, yes, this is Yamantaka. Six-faced, the king of anger, hideous, six-eyed, six-armed, the ever-powerful, bearing his terrible fangs, a skeleton, hala hala, 100 faces proud. The Yama killer ruling obstacles, instilling fear with Vajra impetus. The Vajra-hearted, famous for his Vajra, with belly large with Vajras of illusion. The Vajra born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty with his single dreadlock. His clothes an elephant's raw hide, still moist. Okay. And let's just a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and to recover from the operation, the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for the long life of all and healthy and happy lives of all your teachers. Okay, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow evening. Okay. Thank you for hosting, Michael.